Today we'll be discussing higher order function, more exact map, reduce, filter, and sort. And yeah, if you enjoy the content, just hit the like and leave a comment if you want to learn something else. Yeah, so stay tuned and let's start. All right, guys, map. So map is basically iteration or a looping method. Today I'll give you some examples how to use it. Sorry. Let's start with a simple one. Let's create an array with some numbers in it and just iterate through it. So map takes a callback function and one argument, and I'll use item. You can use whatever you like or prefer. And for now, let's just see what item gives us. Save that and run it. As you can see, item represents every iteration, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's what executes and shows up here. And you can call it whatever you like. You'll get the same result, as you can see there. Yeah. So we'll call it item for now. All right, so let's start with some simple mutation of the array. And we'll do, let's add 2 to each iteration. And constant log r, see what happens. Oops, wrong window. And we get the same result. And why is that? That's because there is something called mutating and non-mutating, and that basically means that map is a non-mutating method, which means that it can't mutate an array. That's why we have to place this in a new variable. Let's say copy r and call copy r instead. And there you go. It added 2 to each iteration. So 1 got 3, 2 plus 2 is 4, etc. All right, that's one. Another example could be an array of objects. Let's say let's do age 26. Let's just copy this. All right, John, and he's 30. What we can do here is also the same. Let's just start with iterating f for friends or something. Let's see what we get. As you can see, instead of iterating each number as we did last time, here we iterate each object. So we get 2 objects. And now let's say we want to, like in the previous example, mutate or change something in this. Let's do change the age and add 2 years. And constant log friends. And indeed it worked. 26 got 28 and 30 got 23. And how is that? When we previous example I said we couldn't mutate. That this doesn't apply to objects, so you can indeed change or mutate the original array if it contains objects inside of it. So that's a thing you have to take into consideration. Yeah. So that's map basically. Let's get back, or let's get to the next one, reduce. Next in line is reduce. And reduce is a method on arrays that takes the total array and outputs one value. So let's say, for instance, we have an array with a couple of numbers inside of it. 38, 45, and 76. And what it does, it has a comparing mechanism, which means, okay, better we take an example and I explain it. So let's say we use reduce. So reduce takes two parameters. One is the callback function, and the second is the initial value. The callback function takes 4 arguments, and those are the accumulator, what they call it, the current value, we'll call it cur, index, and the array we are using. And the array we're using is the one we're using here. The index is the initial, is the iteration and the index of it. The accumulator is the starting point from where in the array it will be started. And the current value is the current value it skipped to. So in essence, let's say we skip those two for now. And let's just say we would like to add up the total amount in the array. This will be how it would turn out. Same here, this is non-mutating, so we have to put it in a separate variable, and let's just say total, and console log total. Try again, and there you have it. Sorry about that. 154. So what is accumulator and the current value? So let's say we would do it like this, easier for you to see. Let's place, let's return that a constant log, and for as you know, you can change these to whatever you like. I think it's, for this example, A and B will be easier. And then we do this will equal the new A, or the new accumulator. I'll try to explain it as we go here. Node index, yes. As you can see, because we don't have any initial value, which would be here. If you had an initial value and place it here, let's say 100 or 4 or 5, whatever. that will be the accumulator. But since we don't have any initial value, it will start from whatever is in first in the array. So A here, which was the accumulator, but we call it A, shortened, will start at 1, as you see here, 1. And when it does, it goes through A, and then plus B, which is the current value of 2, and those two are added up for new A, which is the A3. And the A3 plus the 30 together will be the new A, which is the new 33. And then the 33 gets added up with 45. And then you get a new, and that's 78. And then the 78 is added up with the 76, which in turn, as you can see there, gets to be 154, which is the same. So that's how the mechanism of unreduce works. I hope you understood it. And if you don't, leave a comment and I'll try to explain it a bit deeper or further. All right, that's it. All right, guys, next in line we got filter, and filter is like the name applies. It's a filter of an array. So we'll start with an array with numbers. And let's filter out, let's see. So filter takes one argument. Let's call it num. Let's see. And let's say we would like to filter out the number between number higher than 2 but lesser than 5. So that would mean num is, let's see, two and num bigger, lesser than 5. Let's console log this. Or and as before, the array is a non-mutating array, so it needs to be, or non-mutating method, so the R can't be modified. The original R can be modified, so we need to make a new one. So let's try to filter R. There we go. Now filter out 3 and 4. So that's basically how filter works. It's just a filter, so it's a true or false statement, and it only outputs the true values. So any condition you place in the method here will evaluate, and the things that's true, it's getting outputted. So that's basically filter. All right, guys, last but not least, we have sort, the sorting method. Here we'll start with an array of names, of strings, and this works like this. So it works fine, as you can see. We just add the method sort and run it, and then we console log names, which is the name of the array. And then you can see it's sorted pretty well. But what's the catch here? It can't be this easy, right? And you're right, of course it can't. So let's do the same with numbers. Save it, clear this. Let me zoom in a bit for you guys. This is maybe clearer. And then do, if I can spell, 1 and 101. What? That doesn't seem right. That's why we have custom sorting. And that's a different story. So what does that mean? That means we have to dig a little bit deeper into sorting and how the mechanism works. And what sorting does, it takes in two, or actually one parameter, and that's a callback function. That's a callback function. And the function itself takes two parameters, the second element and the first element and the second element. You can call it whatever you like, but there have to be two of them. So what it does, it goes from the left to the right of an array, and it checks, it compares the element in pairs, which means the first will be 1 here, and the second will always be the second here. So first these two, then these two, then these two, then these two, etc. You understand? So let's just start by creating a function here, just to give you an idea how it works. Function, let's call it callback. See what it does behind the scenes. It's always easier to get a hang of stuff when you know how the mechanism is working. So what this function does is takes if statements where it compares the first with the second. So if the first is lesser than the second, return -1. I'll explain this in a bit, what these mean. If the first is bigger than the second, return 1. Else, return 0. Let's just zoom out a bit. It's too. There we go. And let's see if this works. Numbers, save. And of course, call back here. All right. Index.js. Oops. Node index. Yeah. And it doesn't. Let's see why it doesn't. Console log numbers, callback. First, second. Try this one. Okay, so let's do one and negative one then there. Node index GS. And this works. All right. So what's happening here, guys? It's pretty easy, actually. Let me explain. So let's say if the outcome of the compared pair results in a positive number, equal this to move the lower number to the left. And if the outcome is negative, a negative number, equal this to moving the number to the right in order. If the number, or if the outcome is equal to 0, do nothing. So that's basically the mechanism of this function, or method, actually. But if you want to do it, we can of course write this a little bit simpler, because this is not nice and this is not a good practice of writing code. And we can start by cleaning this up. We can actually do this a bit more nicer, so we can do it like this. Push up the return, refactor it a little bit. Else, we don't need it. Just say return 0. This should give us the same answer, the same result. Yes, it does. And you see, let's remove this for now. This looks a lot cleaner, right? But we can also do it, we can do it even further. We can actually, we could just say A and B here. We don't need it to have that one, and the callback function can just be called, or we could just convert this to an arrow function actually, and we could just do it like this. 2 parameters, as we said before, and then just return A negative B. Since we're just returning this, we don't have to put the return. And let's see if we get the same result here. And we do. And if you want to switch the order, just switching the order from here to that. Run it again. You have it descending to descending. Bigger to smaller, small to bigger, just changing the position of the A and B. So that's that, guys. Hope that clarified it a bit. Hopefully that helped you out, guys. I try to do as many videos as I can each week to help you out in your programming adventure, which is full of nice adventures, and there's a lot to learn. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I do read them since I have 0. And yeah, perhaps we will have a long and nice future ahead of us, and with a lot of videos like these ones. I have some videos in store, but of course, if you have any ideas on videos, I always appreciate you leave some ideas for me. But for now, have a great one. Cheers, guys. Bye.